you asked Josh about the culture and how he's changed. If you go back to the stretch, the Lakers drafted Javaris Crittenton. Remember Javaris Crittenton? Did not finish with he ended up having a lot of problems. But he was the pick they drafted and traded later in his rookie season to get Pau Gasol. Mm-hmm. But after that pick, the Lakers did not end up with a first rounder for 6 straight drafts.
Wow.
Which is stunning. And so a couple of those picks, like they went to get Pau, one went to get Steve Nash, 2 of them were traded to save luxury tax. Mm-hmm. And the one in 2009, that's where Jesse Buss that bothered him because they had a pick and they just sold it outright. In this case, it was Tony Douglas. I think that was for the Knicks. Mm-hmm. So he had a conversation with his father, and his father explained why they did it, and that they're in a win now mode, and they don't have the resources and the time really to develop young players. They're not going to get the minutes. They're not going to get the kind of care that they need, and they can use that money, which it would have been taxed at that time. Mm-hmm. They could use that money to go after free agents and in other capacities. And while Jesse understood, he didn't entirely agree because he looked at teams like the San Antonio Spurs who had developed players that maybe they didn't make a contribution in the first or second season, but eventually their young players grew into major parts. I mean, that's kind of been the hallmark of the Spurs, in addition to Tim Duncan but Tony Parker was a late pick. Ginobili was a second rounder, mm-hmm. And then they found guys like Danny Green in out of the D League at the time. Mm-hmm. So.
You can look at DeJounte Murray now,
right?
Who's been nice for them. I think it was the 30th pick,
right? So that's where Jesse felt like, and he basically said to his father, like, I would like the opportunity to make those picks. And so what his father did was, because he wasn't at that point yet, right, in his career and his development, but he had Jesse prepare each year his board of 60 going into the draft. And so basically Jesse was doing the job on his own, mm-hmm. for his father, so he could prove himself. And it was enough, to give him that opportunity where they made him director of scouting. So he was doing well enough where Dr. Buss put him in charge of scouting. And then from there, his first draft that he was in charge of was the one where the Lakers drafted Ryan Kelly in the second round. And mm-hmm. Kelly's still around. He's playing overseas right now, but even as of last year, he was in the league. With the Hawks, and then traded to the Rockets, mm-hmm. For Chris Paul. He was traded to the Rockets. He ended up not being part of the Chris Paul trade. They thought he was going to be in the Chris Paul. No, it actually screwed up everything because the Hawks wanted to keep him, mm-hmm. but they thought that they were going to trade him to the Rockets. The Rockets would trade him to the Clippers, and once the Clippers cut him, that he would go back to the Hawks, but he ended up not going into that package. And so then the Rockets cut him, and because the Hawks traded him, they could no longer sign him based on the rules. But you can sign someone who, like, if there's an additional trade, it's like a buffer. And so now it's not the Rockets who cut him, it would be the Clippers who cut him, and best laid plans didn't work out. So that's what happened with Ryan Kelly. But that's a real tangent right there. The main point is that after that, the very next year, they drafted Julius Randle, and they drafted Jordan Clarkson. So it wasn't just drafting Jordan Clarkson. Jesse had to convince and sell Jim Buss at the time that they needed to spend $1.8 million to purchase that pick from the Washington Wizards. And the quote, this is my favorite quote in the story, this is from Jesse, quote, "Jim came to me personally. If you put your balls on the line for him, we'll buy the pick." So that's what Jesse was confident enough in Jordan Clarkson. And you could look at Jordan didn't have a great playoff so far in Cleveland. That's immaterial. He's as a late, 48th pick. It's very rare to get a guy who can be a contributor, regular contributor. He was all NBA first team rookie year, right? Mm-hmm. He was a valuable piece for a number of years, and then he helped them get a first-round pick in return. So, and I think that Clarkson pick really kind of put Jesse on the map in the organization, and it started to kind of change that culture where they saw, okay, so then the next year or so they're getting guys like Larry Nance Jr., this year Kyle Kuzma. Josh Hart, and Thomas Robinson, although he didn't really play.
Thomas Bryant. You mean.
Sorry.
You're good.
That's like the 5th time I've done that. Thomas Bryant, who didn't really play, but was a regular in the G League, ended up winning, earning all-rookie first team, or all-rookie team in the G League. So he was a valuable part of that. So Jesse's confident that he can get good role players, that if you need to flesh out that roster, be it from maybe the 5th starter all the way to the 17th player, he can get you good players at an economical price, and he can help contribute to the cause, making his team, the franchise, a better franchise with these kind of players that he can find without dominating the salary cap. The frontline players, that's up to Magic and Rob to go out there and find those kind of star players. And I think you look at those top picks like Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram or D'Angelo Russell or even Julius Randle. Those top picks are probably more of a decision made by the GM, be it Mitch or Jim above him, and now currently Rob and Magic. Those decisions are more heavily based on the boss at the time, whoever's in charge. But they really rely on Jesse and his team, his staff, to find those players like Clarkson, Nance, Kuzma. You go down the list. And so I think he's really helped make a difference on this team. We'll see as they progress. But if and when the Lakers do, at some point they'll land these stars with their cap room. But once you become very heavy, you become top loaded. You have all this money invested in a few players. And really it becomes super important, just like it is now. It doesn't to be able to flesh out the rest of the roster with valuable players, and that's where Jesse thinks he can continue to make an impact.
Are you hiring? Posting your position to job sites and waiting for the right people to see it?
ZipRecruiter knew that there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you.
ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job.
These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire.
In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day.
And ZipRecruiter does not stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match.
The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them.
Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs.
Right now, our listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free.
Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/LAEJ. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LAEJ. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/LAEJ.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.